106.7 Lights FM.
106.7 Light FM, Cubby and Christine in the morning. And with us right now, he's headlining the Beacon Theater January 20th. His name is Joe Gatto, and he's hanging out with us. Joe,
I'm here.
welcome back.
I'm here. Yay. Yay. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You know him and love him from Impractical Jokers and a podcast we'll talk to you about.
Right.
But, man, this is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing the Beacon Theater all by yourself.
Look at me.
January 20th.
I can't wait. I'm
Are
very
we
excited.
trying to make him nervous? Or
So, like, you're doing, like, full-blown.
I am? Oh, no. Cubby, help.
Don't come to me for jokes. You got the jokes.
Yes.
But you're doing, like it's going to be a full-blown stand-up routine.
Yeah. I've been doing my stand-up show for about 2 years now almost, and around the country, and I haven't done New York yet, so I saved the Beacon because it was the crown jewel, one of the three big ones in New York I hadn't played, so I'm excited to play it.
Yeah,
Right.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
What is your comedy? So you're doing stand-up. Are you focusing a lot on family? What do you find that you talk about?
I'm a storyteller for sure, so I do stories mostly, basically I cover the gamut really, but I do a lot of, stories about my best friends growing up, of course, and stories of time with the guys, and then also about being a parent with my crazy kids, which are phenomenal, my dogs, because I have so many rescue animals, there's a lot of stories come from them, my crazy mother growing up in Staten Island, my crazy Italian mom, so it's a little bit of everything, but I'm definitely a storyteller and like to share my experiences.
Yeah.
And what's your take on pop culture right now? Like, do you touch on Taylor Swift, the Stanley Cups? What do you?
Yeah, those I have two big sets, both about those things.
Okay.
No, I'm definitely plugged into pop culture for sure. My daughter's a big Swiftie. I got to see Taylor at the show at MetLife, which is phenomenal.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm definitely plugged into pop culture. I talk about things. I'll have references for sure throughout. It definitely influences me.
Right.
I'm definitely plugged into the whole thing for sure.
How old are your?
My daughter is 8 years old and my son is 6.
Oh, okay. So maybe he doesn't have to worry yet, Cubby, about like getting the Stanley. Like this was a big thing.
Not yet. I got it for my nieces though for Christmas.
Okay.
Yes. I have my niece had left her Stanley somewhere at U. She goes to she's in Arizona and she left it somewhere and she was heartbroken and she said, "Uncle Joey, I need a new Stanley." And I did not realize the rush for the Stanleys.
Absolutely.
Oh my!
Did you
what
buy
a
it at a
thing.
store, or did you go to like eBay or something?
I had to get one through a guy. I had a Stanley guy.
Really?
Yes,
Stanley.
who wasn't named Stanley.
yeah.
Unfortunately, I was like, what a miss. But I had a guy. I had to get a real Stanley, and I was like, "Do you need a real one, or can I get one of these fake million ones in there?" She's like, "Oh, whatever you want." I'm like, "You want a real one?"
You got to get the real one.
Yeah, you had to find a guy. Yeah.
Speaking of eBay, by the way, I went on eBay and I typed in your name.
Oh,
I typed in Joe Gatto.
Yeah, you could buy one of me.
Have you ever put your name in eBay?
No.
The first thing that came up is an Impractical Jokers Joe Gatto rare signed Captain Fat Belly cereal box. It's going for $2,000.
What?
And you signed it. Do you remember that?
I do, because we used it on the show, and I actually sold them for charity. And I guess this is somebody is capitalizing on that. Yeah, so we had done a bit on the
trying to
show.
resell it.
That's it. So we had done a bit on the show where we had to knock down a stack of things and blame it on somebody else. So I did that in the supermarket.
I missed that one.
And it was and then I took them. I had the idea. I was like, you know what? Let me take 100 of these and I'll sign them and sell them for charity. And I did that.
Wow.
And now it's getting $2,000. I'm
grand.
not worth that.
Wow.
I'm not worth that at all.
Why don't you buy it back?
I should buy it back, and then I'll sell it for $2,100. I like what you're doing, Cubby. Let's make some money.
You got to bid. It's eBay. You got to bid on it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Good plan.
Oh man. And now I want to talk about. So we talked about the Beacon, January 20th. Now, Two Cool Moms.
Yeah.
Season 2 debuts January 15th. It's a podcast.
March.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It says January 15th.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Okay.
That pushes back to March.
Tell us about Two Cool Moms debuting. The season 2 debut is in March, right?
Yeah. We're doing, me and Steve Byrne, a fellow comedian friend of mine, we've been doing a podcast called Two Cool Moms for the past year and a little bit. And it's basically, Steve and I have had two really cool mothers growing up who gave great maternal advice. And we like to think that we inherited that, being each other's consiglieres. And we spend the first half of the podcast just talking about anything and everything as comedians, life, growing up, kids, whatever. And then the second part, we actually take fan-submitted dilemmas and solve them to the best of our abilities, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad, always funny.
How do people submit something to you?
Through our Instagram,
Okay.
At Two Cool Moms Pod.
All right.
Yeah, they do it through that, and it's been interesting to hear a lot of things, and we always hear, we get a lot of similarities, a lot of relationship stuff, but one of the big ones we had gotten was, how do I make friends as an adult if I don't have kids? Because people are trying to find friends in different parts of their life, and if you don't have the kid part of it and you move to a new town or whatever it is, you don't have that access point to be like, oh, the parents of the kids, you know. So people are like, how do I make friends? And that was one we were hearing a lot of. I told people just to talk to strangers. I think that's the best part to do it, you know.
All the time.
It does. I mean, every best friend starts as a stranger, you
It
know.
does,
So
yeah,
it's
you
really a way to go. So
something in common. And isn't there like Friendster? Like there's like
there
apps?
is apps. There's apps for everything, you know.
Right,
There's
right.
apps to get, you know, signed boxes.
I'm
You
on
can
it right
find
now.
a friend,
If
you
you're
know.
I'm about to buy this
lucky.
shit.
Yeah,
And
you know,
have
there's a
lots
lot
of
of there's a
cash.
lot of ones those that actually do groups where you could find similar interests, which is
Yeah,
another good.
that's
way.
a good one,
Yeah,
right?
and a lot of people use like their dogs and things like that too. They do like dog meetup groups and stuff. So
Yeah.
I just saw this thing on TikTok about these golden retriever meetup. Did you see this thing?
Yes,
yeah.
They're
Jamie, do you
so
know?
adorable.
Wait, producer Jamie, who's our dog person in the room, do you know about this?
Yeah, so the
there's
the
a
farm's
meetup.
too. There was a meetup, but all the golden retrievers are afraid of the escalator. So it was in a mall, and it was like 40 people holding their golden retrievers going down an
Down the
escalator. It was like the coolest thing
They're
I'd ever
so
seen.
adorable.
It did look like heaven.
I know. And you and your wife, you do a lot of great work with dogs, right?
Yes, we do. Yeah, Gatto Pups and Friends is our nonprofit we run out on Long Island for senior and unwanted dogs mostly, where we help find homes for these pups. And it started as us just collecting a bunch of old dogs.
Aw.
And it was like we could do better. So we started our nonprofit about a year ago, and we've been adopting out. And I think we just adopted out our 60th dog,
Oh, that's
which
so
has been so
wonderful.
great. Yeah, it's been really rewarding. It's
Really
really
love
fun.
that.
Now, what about all the cat people that are texting in right now going, why just
Good. I'm
dogs?
glad they brought it up. Okay, listen. Listen, you're walking down an alley. You see a stray dog, a stray cat. What are you more afraid of? The cats are not trustworthy. I'm going down a different alley. The dog's wagging its tail, being like, "Hey, you got a piece of pepperoni?" The cat's like, "What are you up to? What are you getting into? Get out of my alley."
That's true.
It is. I run.
And this is why you have to see Joe Gatto January 20th, Beacon Theater, and you can get tickets where?
Ticketmaster.com, yeah, or JoeGattoOfficial.com was my website to get.
And, of course, Two Cool Moms, Season 2 of the podcast.
Yeah.
And they can follow that on Instagram as well.
And they can hear it on the iHeart Media app
Or-
for
or-
free.
Yes.
iHeartRadio app. actually.
iHeartRadio app. That's what it-
We'll edit this in.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Say iHeartRadio app. Joe Gatto, thank you for stopping by.
Love you guys. Always great
Nice
to see you.
see you.
Thank
Light
you for having me.
FM.
Thank you.
106.7 Lights FM.